class. Today we're looking at Chapter 3-3, Solving Inequalities by Multiplying or Dividing. So inequalities can help you plan. You can solve inequalities to make sure you have enough ingredients when you are cooking. Looking at patterns, you can divide each side of an inequality by an integer. So just like when we were solving equations, the same thing can happen when we're solving inequalities. So let's look at the division property of inequality. If you divide each side of an inequality by the same positive number, the direction of the inequality symbol remains unchanged. So for example, if we had 15 is less than 20 and we divided it by 5 and divided, so then we have to do whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, divide that one by 5, the symbol of the inequality remains unchanged. Okay, so if it's positive, it remains unchanged. However, if you divide, wrong thing, each side of an inequality by the same negative number, the direction of the inequality symbol is reversed. Okay, and that's very important. Let's do that a little bit darker. Okay, so this is saying if you divide by a negative, it is reversed. Our example, if we have 16 is greater than 12, and then we're going to divide by a negative 4. So then that means that it gets reversed. So our answer would be negative 4, change the symbol, is smaller than negative 3. So see, it makes sense when you think about what it actually equals. Okay, so that is important. Okay. So let's look at solving some of these inequalities now. So if we have negative 3y is less than or equal to negative 27. So we want y to be by itself. So we're going to do the opposite. Right now, negative 3 is being multiplied by y. So we want to divide, wrong thing, by negative 3. Whatever we do to that side, we have to do to the other. Okay, this is a negative. What did we say happens to the inequality of the negative? It gets switched around. So these two are going to cross out. So then we have y, switch this around, reverse, is bigger than or equal to a positive 9. Okay? So go ahead and pause this video and try the next 3 on your own. Come back and check to see how you did. Okay, so this is what you should have got. The first two, if you see, we have negatives, so therefore the inequality got switched in the other direction. Same for this one. But this one, however, and notice I did multiply the reciprocal, so I took care of getting rid of the 2 and the 3 at the same time by multiplying 3 over 2, the reciprocal, the opposite. Then the 3's cross out and the 2's cross out. So therefore I could just take it and then multiply 3 over 2 to the other side, because right, whatever you do to one side you have to do to the other. And then my 2's crossed out, so then it was -3. I do want to also talk to you about, previously we had talked about graphing these. They are going to ask you to graph some of this. So if you look here, we have -9, and it's an open circle because it's not equal to, here, let's do this in a different color. And P is greater than -9. So something we discovered, that if you always have the variable on this side, whatever way the point of the arrow or the inequality is pointing is the way your arrow's going to go. So the arrow for this one is going to go this direction. The arrow for this one is going to point this direction. So so let's take it and look up here. If we have our line, we're going to do 3 is greater than, so our arrow is going to go this direction. See, the same as the inequality. Here we have -3. N is bigger than -3. Oh, sorry, and this was a closed circle because it's equal to. This one's going to be an open circle, and the arrow is going to go this direction. See, the same way as the inequality. It almost looks like the inequality. Okay, so your class is taking a trip to a museum that is 190 miles away. The bus can travel 55 miles per hour. At least how many hours should your class plan for the trip to the museum? So for this, we've got to put together an equation. So it is 190 miles away. So let's do, and how fast the bus can travel. So let's let H equal the number of hours. Okay, so we're saying 55 times however many hours is bigger than or equal to 190. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to solve for H. 55 is a positive number, so we don't have to worry about changing our inequality. Right now, 55 is being multiplied by H. The opposite of multiplication is division. And so we divide. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. When we divide 190 by 55, we get 3.4545. So we want to round to the 10th place, and that's going to equal 3.5 hours. Okay? So 0.5 hours is actually 30 minutes, right? Because half of an hour is 30 minutes. Okay, so now checking out the multiplication property of inequalities. If you multiply each side of an inequality by the same positive number, the direction of the inequality symbol remains unchanged. So it's the same thing as division. If it is positive, it is unchanged. So our example would be if we have 12 is greater than 8, and we're going to multiply 2 to both sides, then the inequality stays the same. Okay? So if you multiply each side of an inequality by the same negative number, the direction of the inequality symbol is reversed. So if it is negative, it is reversed. And our example would be if you have wrong thing. What in the world? 3 is less than 6, and we multiply 3 times negative 2. And what if we're doing negative? We've got to switch the inequality. 6 times negative 2. Then we get negative 6 is greater than negative 12, which makes sense. So once again, start with this one. Because it's negative, it gets reversed. Solve and graph. So right now this one's being divided by a negative 8. We're going to multiply by a negative 8. Whatever we do to that side, we have to do to this side. Those get crossed out. It is a negative. So what happens to that inequality? It changes around, equals negative 16. Here is our line. We have negative 16. Y is smaller than that. What did I tell you about the shape of the arrow? Goes that direction. A circle is filled in because it's either less than or equal to, and our arrow goes that direction. Go ahead and try the next one on your own. You should have got K is greater than 20. And of course, it did reverse because of the negative. Okay, and notice it was facing this direction, so is our arrow. Okay, so we had talked about solving using reciprocals. That's what's happening here. So instead of multiplying by 3 and then dividing by 2, if you just multiply by the reciprocal, so it's still a negative, then they cross each other out. So then multiply this by the same one. So then we have H. It was a negative that we multiplied, so this gets switched around. And so then we could do 6 times 3 is a negative times a negative is a positive. 18 over 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Here is our inequality. We are going to do 9, open circle, the arrows facing this direction. Okay? Go ahead and solve this next one on your own. You should have got W is less than or equal to -16 and a similar graph. Your homework assignment for tonight is page 112, number 3 through 23 odds. Happy homeworking!